In early December of 1872, a merchant ship drifting silently across the Atlantic Ocean would become one of the greatest maritime mysteries in history. The vessel was called the Mary Celeste, and when it was discovered, something was terribly wrong. The ship was perfectly seaworthy, its cargo intact, its supplies untouched, yet every single person on board had vanished. The Mary Celeste had departed from New York City on November 7, 1872, bound for Genoa. The ship was commanded by Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, an experienced and respected sailor. Traveling with him were his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members. The cargo consisted of more than 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, carefully packed for delivery across the Atlantic. For nearly a month, the Mary Celeste sailed eastward across the ocean. The weather during the voyage was reported to be rough at times, but not extraordinary for the season. Then, sometime in late November, the ship's story took a strange and unsettling turn. On December 4, 1872, another vessel named the De Gratia spotted a ship drifting aimlessly about 400 miles east of the Azores. The captain of the De Gratia, David Morehouse, recognized the vessel as the Mary Celeste. He found its strange movements suspicious and ordered a boarding party to investigate. What they discovered was deeply unsettling. The ship itself was in relatively good condition. Its sails were partly set, and the hull showed no signs of serious damage. The cargo of alcohol remained almost entirely intact. Food, water, and personal belongings were still aboard. The crew's clothing and valuables had been left behind, as if no one had expected to abandon the vessel. But the lifeboat was missing. The ship's logbook provided the last recorded entry dated November 25th, about 9 days before the discovery. According to the log, the Mary Celeste had been sailing normally near the Azores. After that entry, there were no further records, no distress signals, and no clues explaining what had happened. There were no signs of violence, no evidence of pirates, no indication of a struggle. The boarding crew searched carefully for answers, but none appeared. The Mary Celeste was then sailed to Gibraltar, where a formal maritime investigation was launched by the British Admiralty Court. Investigators examined the ship, questioned witnesses, and studied every detail of the voyage. Several theories were proposed. Some suspected foul play or mutiny, but no evidence supported it. Others suggested that alcohol fumes from the cargo might have caused an explosion scare, leading the captain to temporarily evacuate the ship. If that happened, the lifeboat may have been accidentally separated from the vessel, leaving the crew stranded at sea. Yet none of these explanations could be proven. What made the mystery even more haunting was how normal the ship appeared. Meals were prepared. The cargo was secure. Valuable items were untouched. It looked as though the crew had left suddenly, but not in panic. Despite investigations, testimonies, and decades of speculation, the fate of Captain Briggs, his family, and the crew has never been confirmed. No wreckage of the lifeboat was ever found, and no survivors were ever discovered. More than 150 years later, the story of the Mary Celeste remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in maritime history. A ship discovered drifting through the Atlantic, perfectly intact but completely empty, a silent vessel carrying no answers, and a disappearance that the ocean has never returned.